Here's the news.
Yeah.
The Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson will undergo season-ending surgery on a broken bone in his throwing shoulder. Now, this is something that you had mentioned. You're like, it doesn't look right when he throws. Like, something still seems a little off.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that. And then I was watching him last week, and I was like, you know what? You're kind of right, because it's almost like he's putting his whole body behind his throws.
Like he won't let his arm go all the way.
Right. It's just like he's got to use more effort from the shoulders and the hips or whatever.
The rest of the body, exactly.
But I don't know. So
he had the shoulder injury before, right?
Yep.
And there's a part of me that's like, maybe was this injury there? That's what I wonder already. Like, was it something that was there that they missed and didn't see? Either way, it's pretty remarkable that he could have that injury and still throw the ball the way he did in the second half of the football game. I mean, he got off to a rough start early on in that Baltimore Ravens game. In the second half, he was very efficient, made some big-time plays, took care of the ball, did things the right way. But, like, I just can't get over it. You know, every time we think the guy's about to turn the corner and kind of get into a groove and go, oh, okay, hey, he's starting to look good, and, you know, we're seeing some plays here that make us, you know, perk up and go, wow, Deshaun Watson looks damn good. Something happens, you know, injury-related, whatever, and a huge, huge blow to the Cleveland Browns. The Browns, as we saw last week, you know, I think you saw with Watson, they started to, you started to think, like, hey, that win there, they're capable of playing offense like that, and he can continue to get better. Like, they're a Super Bowl caliber football team. We went through the exercise last week, right? You know, you break down their team, you go, D-line, one of the best in football. You know, they got J.O.K. at linebacker, who's an all-pro for me right now. And the rest of the linebackers aren't bad either. The secondary is phenomenal, right? The O-line is phenomenal. They have a phenomenal tight end. They have real good receivers and good running backs. They have no weakness on their football team. And, you know, all you were kind of waiting for is his health, consistency on offense, and you go, watch out, they're a juggernaut. That's all we were all kind of waiting for. And now we're back into DTR, PJ Walker. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. And it's going to be more pressure on the defense and Strugglesville for the offense, at least we think, until they can prove to us that they can play, you know, at a consistently high level as well.
Yeah, now they've lost Deshaun Watson. They've lost Nick Chubb earlier. They lost Jack Conklin. So on the offensive side, certainly the injuries have piled up here. And so even whoever replaces Deshaun Watson is going in with a depleted offensive staff. So what was a difficult task is even more difficult for these guys. And you mentioned the two. P.J. Walker, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I think we have their numbers for the season. We'll find out more as the day goes on, and perhaps when you're listening to this, they've made a decision on who they'll go with. But I don't know. If you were Kevin Stefanski, what are you thinking right now?
I think you go with P.J. Walker. I do. You know, it's P.J. Walker, and hopefully he can grow on some of the things that he did earlier in the year when they beat the 49ers, and, you know, when he had to come in and beat the Colts, right? And they had that football game, and it was a lot of fun to watch. It's not perfect, and he certainly has a little bit of a problem turning the football over. We saw that with the Carolina Panthers last year. That's the big thing that scares you, but that's your option, because the other option is a guy that is inexperienced. He's young, and he also has a problem with taking care of the football to a degree. So I think they stay the course here with Walker being the quarterback, DTR will be the backup. I would think they try to sign some veteran type of guy or anybody out there that they can feel like can just round out the room. I have to look at practice squad and who's on those rosters as well. But, yeah, they're going to have to go there and just hope that they can manage the game the right way at the quarterback position now, which stinks when you have a talented team like they do.
I would be concerned if I were the Browns, obviously, because Deshaun, you don't want a quarterback hurt at all, and you don't want a quarterback's throwing shoulder hurt either. And so who knows? Broken bone seems better than maybe ligaments up there, but I'm not a doctor. I have no idea.
No, it's like where it's I forgot the name of the glenoid, right? The glenoid is like the little spot where, like, the ball of your arm goes into, like, your scapula, the back of your shoulder. It's like on the front side of that. So it's facing forward, but it's on the back of your body. And it sounds like he's got a little bit of a fracture right in there, which, of course, I would think, anytime the arm rotates or moves or anything like that, it's got to be painful or annoying.
So I don't know. If you're the Browns, do you have to, I mean, how do you do this, right? Are you...
This isn't long term. It's not like
I
don't think it's not like a labrum where you're like, oh man, he might not be ready to start next season or anything like that. This is something that I would think that off season he'll still be good to go. Yeah. But it's just not.
But now you're 2 years removed from seeing the Deshaun Watson that we've seen in the past.
3 years,
3 years
really,
removed,
right?
Yes.
That's to me the big thing here. is that this is a long time. This is 2 years of a big contract that they haven't really seen a return for what they've done. Forget the money they're paying, all the assets they traded away to get him. I mean, what was it? 3 firsts, 2 seconds, and some other mid-round picks, right, to go along with it, let alone the money. So here we are going to go into year 3, and we haven't really seen much in return from that way. Yes, that's concerning, let alone I think your point is what we've been talking about. That's all we worried about this in preseason, right? It's just he's got to play. He's got to get back on the bike. He's got to learn, to feel the pass rush, to when to get off the first read and when to scramble and, when to hang in there because I see a guy coming open. Those are little nuances that only playing can make you feel comfortable with. Yeah. And, like I said, every time I think he's getting close, something else happens.
3 firsts in this trade.
Yeah.
What was it? What else was it, Pete? A third and 2 fourths. So it was a lot.
That's a lot.
And the money then, and the guaranteed
exactly
contract,
right.
and changing the game, and getting other owners to hate you. You gave up a lot.
They did a lot
for Deshaun Watson.
Exactly right.
So now, where do the Browns sit? DraftKings comes to the rescue for us to show us what the odds for the Browns were before this news broke and what the odds are now. So, just looking ahead to this week's game versus the Steelers, they were 4-point favorite before. Now they're a 2-point favorite, so they still think they're going to beat the Steelers.
Yeah.
But the playoff odds have changed drastically here. To win the AFC North, they've almost gotten twice as bad, plus 230 to plus 450. To win the AFC, they've all gotten significantly worse here.
I would think they would. In fact, I'm actually shocked some of those odds weren't better. Before this injury, right? With how we just broke it down, the talent of their team. The fact that, they just went into Baltimore and beat a team that, I think a lot of people looked at and said they're the best team in football right now. I know the Eagles are right there with them. This is a big deal. Now, what I will say is even though a lot of those things and issues change, no doubt about it, whether to win the AFC North, win the AFC, go to the Super Bowl, certainly don't think of them as the same. I will say, I'm not going to sit here and go, the playoffs are out of question. No way. Not with this football team, not with this defense, not with their schedule. That's the other thing that's encouraging for them, okay? When you break down their schedule, they've gotten a lot of their hard games out of the way. Now, it's not perfect here. The Steelers, as we know this week, big rivalry game, which is going to be an ugly, low-scoring defensive affair, which Cleveland, I don't care who plays at quarterback, could be comfortable in that setting. They got the Broncos the week after that, where, hey, the Broncos are playing better football, but I still think Cleveland's the better football team, more talent on the field. You got the Rams, right? Another team that I'd go talent on the field, they got them beat. You got the Jaguars, okay, that's a different story. The Jaguars are good, we know that. But then it's the Bears, the Texans, the Jets. What I'm saying is there's a lot of games that could fit into, hey, P.J. Walker, we don't need to take over the world here. Throw for 150 yards. Don't throw any interceptions. Don't even throw any touchdowns. Doesn't matter. Just get us a few first downs. We'll run the ball. We'll have a trick play. Our defense will probably set us up to score a point or two once or twice during the football game and try to follow that formula. We'll see if they can do it.
Our betting guru, Jay Croucher, says that this makes Myles Garrett's MVP chances even better. Oh, that's an interesting angle.
I can see that.
If Browns win that division, all credit will go to him. He's currently plus 18,000 on DraftKings right now to win the MVP. 180 to 1. So you put $1, you get 181 back because you get your dollar back. They do give you.
They give it back. You figure that out.
The dollar you bet, they give you that one back.
Look at you, you're such a nuanced gambler. You are. There's ever a year where MVP, in my opinion, is up for grabs. There's no clear-cut quarterback to look at on one of the best teams right now and go, that they definitely got it locked up. I mean, as you've heard me say, and I'm not going to get off it, the MVP for the first 10 weeks of football is the guy wearing number 10 at wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins. He's the guy we talk about the most through the first 10 weeks. He's the guy that has the most highlights at the end of the first 2 weeks. Statistically, he's doing it. You talk to any coach that plays the Miami Dolphins, the first thing out of their mouth is that little number 10, we got to follow him around and make sure we don't let him go crazy, right? So it's there to be had for one of these guys outside the quarterback conversation this year. I will say that. Whether it's A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Myles Garrett, he's going to have to go off even more here. But if they got, I feel like if the year continues the way it is and there's no clear-cut runner at quarterback, if they just get into the playoffs with their situation and he has, let's just say, 20 sacks, and I think he already has like 4 or 5 forced fumbles, and he gets another 4 or 5 down the stretch.
Yeah.
That might even be enough to throw him into the conversation to where he gets some major votes in this one. We'll see where it goes. Or we'll see if a quarterback catches fire here the last 8 weeks of the year and then just puts that all to rest.
We want to remind you not to forget, on the DraftKings Sportsbook this season, new customers can bet $5 and pocket $150 in bonus bets instantly.
Plus, all customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every day.
You can download the app and use the promo code Unbuttoned when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours.
Damn.
We're
good.
There are a lot of comments out there that the Browns could use a guy like Joshua Dobbs, and Pete knows that too. A guy they had. They had Joshua Dobbs, and they traded him and a 7th rounder for a 5th rounder
to Arizona, right?
To Arizona,
Yep.
And Patriot Cody Wyatt says it would cost something pretty significant, but I think the Giants might be willing to part with Tommy DeVito for the right price. So I know we're past the trade deadline, but maybe that's more of an off-season thing. But Josh Dobbs that would be a good fit.
Well, yeah, it would have
been.
I don't fault them for trading Josh Dobbs
Yes.
when they did, right? I mean, Watson is a guy that, for the most part, has played a lot of football when he was, he hasn't been hurt much in his career. So that was one thing. And then I think they had 2, other guys that they went, okay, PJ Walker's not a bad backup. He's got some talent, might not be in the trust tree as much as as Joshua Dobbs, but I think enough to where they were like, oh, for a 5th rounder, okay, we'll do that. And plus, I think they really like DTR and where he was at.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of like, how many roster spots we got? Oh, you'll give us a 5th rounder. I don't know if they were necessarily in love with Dobbs either, right? He certainly would have been nice now, but now they're relegated to guys on the street. And that's all there is to it because they can't trade. We know the deadline's over, and they're kind of stuck with what they got there.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, and you never can tell. It's all hindsight. It's all hindsight here.
Yo, what up, homies? Thanks for watching. Remember, subscribe to Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Right now, we got Sunday Pod, right? So you can have it Monday morning. We recap all the action. Wednesday, it's the What the Happened podcast. We're going to get deep in the weeds on the key matchups of the week. And then Thursday, I'm picking games with that jerk Florio. So you know where to find us, homies. Keep watching. Peace out. We'll see you.